Archangel Michael says, listen closely, because the air around you is about to change. You might have felt a sudden stillness today, a calm before something sacred arrives. That stillness isn't ordinary, it's the quiet breath of destiny preparing to step through your door. For months, the heavens have been arranging every delay, every tear, every moment of silence between you and the one your soul called for. You thought they forgot. You thought the prayer went unanswered. But tonight, the vibration of their name moves closer to your heartbeat, aligning perfectly with divine timing. Something shifted at midnight, your name was whispered where fate is written. A sign was sealed, not by human hands, but by something higher that has chosen now. Every hour from this moment will bring a step nearer, until that soul stands right before you, carrying the answer you wept for. Archangel Michael says, you will feel it before you see it. A familiar warmth brushing your skin, like a memory that never left. You will recognize their energy long before your eyes meet theirs again. Type Amen to get blessing 333. You were never forgotten, you were being prepared. The silence was not rejection, it was refinement. Your heart was being tuned to the same frequency as theirs, so when the reunion happens, it won't break this time. There's a wind of recognition about to pass through your life. You'll notice things repeating. Names, numbers, the same melody playing twice. These are confirmations, signs that heaven is orchestrating the return of a divine bond. Tonight, your energy feels different to those around you. They sense something powerful but can't name it. It's the glow of answered prayers arriving disguised as coincidence. They've been searching for you too, though they never admitted it out loud. Every dream they had of you, every moment they felt your absence, was guided. Now, the invisible thread that connects you is pulling tighter. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Do not fear the sudden rush of emotions you'll feel soon. It's not weakness, it's remembrance. Two souls recognizing what was always meant to be. Archangel Michael says, prepare your heart like a home being cleaned for an honored guest. Release the grudges, the pain, the old pictures of what went wrong. Because what's coming is not a repetition, it's a resurrection. Someone is about to reach out unexpectedly. A message, a call, or a glance that changes everything. You'll think it's random, but heaven will know the exact moment was written long ago. The stars are shifting tonight to make space for this meeting. Even the universe bends gently when true souls are meant to collide. Their footsteps are already echoing toward your path. Type Amen to get blessing 555. You prayed for love that wouldn't fade when tested. You prayed for connection that would outlast distance, silence, and fear. Now, that very prayer is turning into flesh and presence. The angels have seen how you loved without being seen. They have watched your patience through every lonely evening. That energy has been stored like light waiting to return to its source. You might not realize it, but the dream you had 3 nights ago wasn't just imagination. It was a preview of what's about to unfold. The location you saw, the sound you heard. It was a glimpse of the moment destiny reveals itself. Archangel Michael says, do not run from this time. It is not an illusion, it is alignment. The person you prayed for has awakened to the memory of your soul. Type Amen to get blessing 666. Every sign you ignored will begin to repeat louder now. A name on a billboard, a song lyric that feels too personal, a scent that takes you back. These are not coincidences, they are heaven's notifications. The angels have opened a pathway for reunion, but you must stay calm. Fear will try to make you believe you imagined it. Doubt will whisper that you're being fooled again. But something inside you, stronger than fear, knows this is real. It's the same voice that whispered the name you cried for at night. It's the same pull that made you wait when everyone else said to forget. Your patience is about to be rewarded beyond measure. Every lonely prayer was a seed, and the garden is finally in bloom. You're about to witness divine reciprocity. Type Amen to get blessing 777. You will notice the way time slows when this moment comes. The air will grow softer, and your body will know before your mind does. That's how heaven announces presence, through peace, not panic. Archangel Michael says, your guardian angels are already guiding their steps. They've been redirected 3 times today without knowing why. Each redirection is heaven's hand turning them toward you. The one you prayed for carries their own wounds, their own regrets. But your name brings them peace. They've been searching for the voice that once called them home. When you meet again, the silence will speak louder than any apology. And in that stillness, you will both know, you never really lost each other. You were being kept apart only until it was safe to heal together. Type Amen to get blessing 888. You'll see little confirmations appearing in your world. Feathers, coins, lights flickering at the right time. Each one a soft whisper from heaven saying, it's happening now. This union isn't about romance alone, it's restoration. It's the return of something sacred that was paused, not cancelled. Even time had to wait for this chapter to begin again. The next person who says your name with genuine care carries the vibration of destiny. Listen closely, because that voice is what your prayers summoned. Their arrival is the answer written in light. Archangel Michael says, your energy is glowing with expectancy. You might notice strangers turning to look without knowing why. It's because divine alignment always draws attention, it's unmistakable. Type Amen to get blessing 999. The moment is close, closer than you think. Keep your spirit open, your heart unguarded. Heaven moves fastest when you no longer resist. Your patience became your proof of worthiness. Every tear you shed was recorded as evidence of your faith. Now, the heavens repay in abundance what you endured in silence. A message may appear at a strange hour, a text, an email, a voice message. You'll pause, not sure if you should open it. Do it, because it's the sign the waiting has ended. The tone in their words will carry a softness that feels like home. And that's how you'll know, it's not imagination. It's the universe bringing 2 halves back into one circle. Type Amen to get blessing 1111. Archangel Michael says, your light is drawing in what belongs to it. Do not chase, magnetize. Because what is yours is already recognizing you. The delays were not punishment, they were divine protection. The wrong paths had to close so that no counterfeit could reach you. Now, only truth stands at the gate of your destiny. You'll notice new energy in your mornings, lighter, freer, expectant. Even your breath will feel different, as if anticipation has oxygen in it. That's how divine timing feels when it's about to arrive. You are standing in the prelude of answered prayer. And soon, the universe will echo your faith in the form of a person. They will come with warmth, not warning. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. Everything you lost made room for this return. Everything that left created space for what was promised. Now, the story restarts under grace. When they appear, your world will go quiet. The noise of fear, the chatter of doubt, gone in an instant. All that remains will be truth, standing right in front of you. You will remember why your spirit never gave up. You will feel the universe apologize for the delay. And you will understand that divine love was never late, it was right on time. Archangel Michael says, your name is being written beside theirs again. A reunion blessed, sealed, and guarded by light. No interference will touch what heaven has already confirmed. Type Amen to get blessing 1313. Prepare yourself. Emotionally, spiritually, physically. This blessing will be overwhelming at first, but gentle in its unfolding. It will feel like sunrise after 1,000 nights. You may be tempted to doubt it, to compare it to the past. But remember, this is not repetition, this is revelation. You've matured into the version of yourself that can now receive it fully. Their presence will bring stillness to your chaos. And your peace will bring clarity to their storm. Together, you'll rewrite every page that once ended in pain. From this night forward, the energy of waiting is gone. Only fulfillment remains. And you, chosen soul, are finally stepping into the promise you've carried so long. Type Amen to get blessing 1414. You'll begin to notice mirrors of your own prayers in their words. The same phrases, the same dreams, they've felt it all too. Distance could never silence what heaven connected. The angels will keep guarding this union fiercely. Any interference will be removed quietly, without chaos. Because what belongs to you cannot be stolen. You will soon find yourself smiling without reason. Feeling lighter for no apparent cause. That's your spirit recognizing completion before your eyes do. Archangel Michael says, remain patient just a little longer. Because the door that's opening carries lifelong peace behind it. Heaven never rushes eternity, it simply perfects the moment. Type Amen to get blessing 1515. Now breathe deeply and let gratitude flood your being. You have survived the waiting, and the promise has survived the distance. Soon, the two will meet in perfect harmony. In that meeting, everything unspoken will be understood. Everything broken will be restored. And every unanswered prayer will finally make sense. This is the miracle that your faith created. It was written in divine ink long before you ever spoke the words. And now, heaven honors your endurance with manifestation. When this happens, remember this message. Remember that you were warned not to give up too soon. Because surrender is the final step before arrival. Type Amen to get blessing 1616. Archangel Michael says, the countdown is almost complete. The energy of fulfillment is already touching your atmosphere. You are seconds away from your divine confirmation. Stay in the vibration of faith. Speak love, not fear. And walk forward knowing that heaven itself is walking with you. Because the person you prayed for, the one who carries the echo of your soul, is finally, truly, about to find you. The evening opened like a velvet curtain, and your breath learned a gentler rhythm. Streetlights hummed, and the road ahead felt touched by a careful hand. Your steps moved without urgency, guided by an inner compass that never failed you. The phone lit up with a glow that felt warm rather than loud. A simple notification rested on the screen, carrying familiarity like an embrace. You opened it, and the world softened around a single name that your spirit already knew. There was no surprise in your bones, only recognition. The words were simple, measured, and clear like a calm sea. They said they were close by, and the evening already knew why. You paused at the doorway as if the night wanted to hold you 1 second longer. The wind leaned in like a witness, whispering a vow of safety. You stepped forward, and the horizon accepted your courage with quiet respect. Type Amen to get blessing 1717. A path you rarely choose welcomed your feet. The air carried a fragrance you once loved, made fresh by time. Even the sky seemed to lower its voice as you walked through a gentle hush. Your heart kept a steady rhythm that matched the pulse of arrival. You were not nervous, you were ready. This readiness felt like the answer to your earlier patience. The place came into view, glowing like a memory that waited faithfully. A light over the entrance offered a silver halo to everything beneath it. You crossed the threshold as if walking through a promise. They were there, peaceful and still, as if they never truly left. Their eyes held the soft burn of understanding without pressure. The silence between you two became a bridge that carried both souls safely. Type Amen to get blessing 1818. The first word was your name, shaped like a blessing. It carried no weight of the past, only a gentle invitation to begin again. You felt the ground become a home as the name settled into you. They reached forward, and the space between your hands remembered its purpose. You felt the smallest tremor of relief rush through their fingers. It was the soundless proof that destiny still knows the way back. No story was needed in that moment, just presence. The air made a circle around you like a shield of quiet light. Every hurt that tried to speak found its voice fading with grace. Their smile held 1,000 sunsets and a small new dawn. Your eyes matched it with a steady flame that did not flicker. Two lights aligned, steady and bright, in a room that finally understood why it was built. Type Amen to get blessing 1919. They spoke of days that felt longer than they were. They named the empty chairs, and those chairs lost their power. They thanked the distance for refining what stayed true. Your voice answered with warmth rather than explanation. You let truth stand up without a list of reasons. You chose presence over proof, faith over inventory. A memory rose between you like a lifted lantern. It lit the edges of a shared path that never closed. In that glow, every lost signal found connection again. Your breath and their breath found an easy rhythm. The room began to feel smaller, in the way closeness makes it sacred. You realized that the waiting had folded itself into peace. Type Amen to get blessing 2020. You both moved to sit, and the chairs welcomed a quieter future. The table held your joined calm without demanding any noise. A soft hum from the world outside floated like a blessing through the doorway. They admitted how many times they turned away from lesser roads. They shared how your name was the compass that corrected them. You heard sincerity as steady as a heartbeat that refuses confusion. An image returned to you, a doorstep washed by rain. You remembered how the sky once felt heavy but kind. Now the memory bowed to a gentler present that belongs to both of you. They reached into their pocket and placed a small folded note between you. It was creased with travel and care, sealed by the quiet practice of patience. You unfolded it and found words that matched your prayer line by line. Type Amen to get blessing 2121. The words were not ornate, they were honest. They named your light as an anchor in times of restless drifting. They promised steadiness, without the noise that once drowned intention. You felt the past loosen its last tight knot inside your chest. Your shoulders learned a new language called ease. You let that ease teach your spirit a softer standing. A faint melody from the street drifted in like a ribbon. It wrapped the room in memory without weight. Everything familiar became new from the angle of peace. They spoke of the first time they saw you in a crowded place. They described the calm inside the moment more than the details. You heard alignment echo through the simple confession. Type Amen to get blessing 2222. You placed the note back down with care, like a keepsake that breathes. The table seemed to glow with a gentle authority. The night felt entrusted to your hands. They asked for a clean page without asking for proof of every line erased. They spoke about presence more than promises. You understood that healing had chosen a practical path. A warm drink arrived, and steam curled like a quiet halo. You both watched the gentle rise as if observing a sacred sign. Even the smallest details felt anointed with purpose. You allowed your endurance to soften into gratitude. The room accepted that softness like a living offering. Both of you learned that gentleness can be strong. Type Amen to get blessing 2323. A small breeze brushed your shoulder through the half-open window. It carried a trace of jasmine and the memory of a calmer season. Time stepped back and let you speak without pressure. You shared the way you kept faith on the days silence felt heavier than stone. You explained how you guarded your heart without hardening it. Your words landed softly and stayed without effort. They listened without interruption, letting your truth occupy its rightful place. Their eyes did not wander or rush past the moment. The listening itself became a vow made in stillness. You noticed your hands resting calmly on the table. Their hands mirrored the posture without instruction. The mirror became a sanctuary where both of you felt understood. Type Amen to get blessing 2424. The clock on the wall ticked with a kind rhythm. It no longer chased you or chased them. It kept time like an ally rather than a judge. A memory of an old road returned to them, and they smiled. They told you about turning away from that road today. You felt the world agree with the choice in a hush. The light outside deepened to a richer blue. Cars passed like quiet ushers of the night. Each one seemed to bow to the moment unfolding inside. They spoke of a promise kept in their private prayers. They revealed how your name never left the place where truth lives. You recognize the same altar inside your own chest. Type Amen to get blessing 2525. The past tried to rise one last time, but it lacked breath. It folded itself gently and set down its burden. It exited the room like a chapter that knew it was complete. You took a breath that reached further than your lungs. It reached into the future and found welcome there. Your lungs learned a new width designed for peace. They asked if you felt the same calm that hovered around the table. You nodded with a smile that carried a steady flame. Agreement settled like a quilt of light across both shoulders. Two cups touched the saucers with the softest sound. The sound marked a quiet ceremony that needed no witnesses. Something official formed in the silence without effort. Type Amen to get blessing 2626. You said you wanted to move at the speed of care. They agreed with a grateful relief that softened everything. The speed reduced to what souls can actually hold. The room answered by expanding without growing. It kept you both inside a circle of trust that felt earned. The circle narrowed the world to the two who stood in truth. You noticed a small feather resting near the window frame. It did not need explanation or naming. You both recognized it as a nod from the unseen. A message lit your phone again with a subtle glow. It was a confirmation for tomorrow at a familiar place. You saw how the path began to schedule itself in quiet confidence. Type Amen to get blessing 2727. They asked to walk you to the door without dramatics. You rose together like two notes in the same chord. Even the floor welcomed the sound of a shared step. Outside, the air carried a softness usually saved for mornings. Streetlights framed the path like warm punctuation. You walked slowly because there was no reason to hurry. They paused under a canopy of steady light. Their eyes held gratitude that did not spill over. It stayed contained like a well that knows its depth. A simple thanks passed between you like a signed letter. The letter required no stamp and no delivery time. It arrived in both hearts at once and stayed. Type Amen to get blessing 2828. You parted with a promise to meet the sunrise without alarm. The promise did not cling, it rested with clarity. The night protected that promise as if sworn to do so. You turned for a final look and found them already steady. They carried the same calm you felt from your own center. Two centers echoed each other in perfect quiet. Home greeted you with a hush that felt new. The walls held a warmth that did not exist yesterday. Every familiar object learned a softer meaning. You set the folded note on your desk as if placing a small crown. It did not weigh anything, yet it held authority. Your room accepted the authority and reflected it back to you. Type Amen to get blessing 2929. You prepared for rest with a peace that belonged to both. Pillows learned the shape of a settled heart. Even the blanket understood the new order. Your last thought before sleep was not a fear. It was a picture of two paths that stopped pretending they were separate. The picture glowed and then eased into darkness. Morning rose without noise and touched your face like a vow. You woke to find your spirit already standing. It had prepared the day while your body rested. A message waited, short and grounded. It named the place and the hour with care. It asked for nothing more than presence. Type Amen to get blessing 3030. You chose clothes that felt kind rather than loud. They fit like a sentence that ends where it should. Your reflection agreed without debate. On the way, the city moved with unforced grace. Even the corners and crossings felt aligned. The world kept the pace of trust. You arrived early because peace loves preparation. The seat by the window welcomed you like an old friend. Light settled across the table with the patience of a teacher. They arrived with a smile that belonged to now. There was no rush inside the greeting. You felt the quiet ceremony begin again with ease. Type Amen to get blessing 3131. A simple book rested in their hand, marked by a ribbon. They placed it gently on the table as a sign of honest intent. The ribbon hung like a bridge between two chapters. They shared a few pages they had written when nights were long. The pages carried your name like a steady lantern. You held the book with the reverence owed to endurance. You offered a small keepsake you had safeguarded. It was not valuable by price, but rich with memory. They received it with a care that matched your offering. A tray arrived, and the scent of warm bread rose like home. You both laughed softly at the comfort of simplicity. Even laughter understood the boundaries of peace. Type Amen to get blessing 3232. Conversation unfolded like a linen cloth across a table. It covered everything without heaviness. It made space for warmth without spillage. They spoke of boundaries learned through loss. You spoke of boundaries kept through love. The two sets matched like careful stitches. Plans formed without fanfare. They took shape as walking paths rather than maps. Each plan respected breath and seasons. You agreed on honest pacing in the presence of light. You honored tomorrow without dragging yesterday. The agreement felt like a door opening inward. Type Amen to get blessing 3333. A gentle silence followed, steeped like tea left to bloom. It allowed each word to find its place. The silence protected meaning rather than smothering it. They lifted their eyes with a promise so steady it glowed. They promised consistency without spectacle. You felt the spine of your hope grow taller. You reached out, and your hands found the same temperature. The meeting point learned the strength of steady warmth. A calm future introduced itself without a speech. The day leaned toward afternoon with kindness. Shadows softened and stepped back. Light stayed like a trusted guest. Type Amen to get blessing 3434. You walked together along a path lined with quiet trees. Leaves spoke in small rustles that sounded like approval. The ground held your steps as if it had waited for them. A small dog trotted by and wagged without reason. Its owner smiled with the kindness of a passerby touched by grace. The moment kept its innocence without borrowing meaning. You paused near a low wall painted by time. Names and dates carved softly into the stone felt patient. You placed your palm there, and stillness agreed. They stood beside you with a presence that did not crowd. Their closeness felt like a well-made shelter. Your heart rested without bargaining. Type Amen to get blessing 3535. Evening approached with a gentle blue again. A soft glow returned to the world as if resuming its post. Both of you understood the rhythm by now. You planned the next meeting with the ease of routine. There was no strain in the calendar. The hours found their alignment without argument. You chose a small place that has seen many quiet joys. The thought of it lifted your chest with ease. The future placed a bookmark there and smiled. Your phone stayed mostly silent, as if aware of the moment. Only necessary words made brief appearances. Silence handled the rest with skill. Type Amen to get blessing 3636. Back home, the light in your room softened around the edges. You placed the book and the keepsake side by side. They looked like friends that found each other after a long season. A gentle tiredness visited you, not from strain but from relief. You welcomed it like a soft blanket. Sleep came without negotiation. Dreams arrived dressed in everyday scenes. They carried no heavy symbols, only ease. Even the subconscious chose simplicity. Morning returned with clear steps. You woke ready without forcing readiness. Peace finished its work quietly and stayed. Type Amen to get blessing 3737. Days followed with a reliable pattern. Messages carried the tone of steady footsteps. Calls sounded like warm alleys rather than busy streets. You met again where kindness remembers names. Chairs held your posture like they understood responsibility. The table learned the balance between comfort and purpose. They brought a small plant in a simple pot. They said it reminded them of your patience. You placed it near the window where light honors growth. You both created a small ritual of shared stillness. 5 breaths in, 5 breaths out, without counting aloud. The ritual wrapped every meeting like a ribbon that never tightens. Type Amen to get blessing 3838. You noticed how truth reduces the need for decoration. Words shorten to what matters without losing depth. Meaning carried itself with quiet posture. They noticed how your presence calms their restless edges. They said the noise in their head lowers its volume near you. You received the observation with grateful steadiness. The past remained quiet, obedient to the new order. It did not ask for retelling or validation. It recognized that restoration outranks repetition. The future walked in without heavy shoes. It moved softly and arranged chairs for joy. Both of you sat down in the arrangement as if invited by name. Type Amen to get blessing 3939. A small celebration formed without planning. 2 cups, a simple dessert, a few words held in a frame of light. It felt like the day signed its own certificate. You named the season aloud, return, not replay. They nodded and placed a hand over their heart. Agreement placed its seal in the space between both palms. Clouds gathered in the distance and then changed their mind. They drifted apart, leaving the sky clear for a longer afternoon. The world mirrored your shared clarity. You walked home under a sky that understood hope. Every step sent a quiet message into the ground. The ground sent it back with a deeper echo. Type Amen to get blessing 4040. Evenings now carry the fragrance of completion. Mornings carry the courage of new beginnings. Afternoons rest without conflict between the two. Your room has learned the shape of peace. Shelves hold more meaning than objects. The window tells you when light is at its gentlest. They arrive on time without the performance of urgency. They bring presence rather than grand gestures. Your heart meets them with the exact same currency. A final whisper of assurance lives at the back of your mind. It speaks only when needed and always in calm. You treat it like a trusted elder who never wastes words. Type Amen to get blessing 4141. The person you prayed for is not just arriving anymore. They have arrived and begun to dwell. Their dwelling does not crowd your space, it completes it. You do not rehearse outcomes. You simply host the day as it knocks softly and enters. The day accepts your hospitality and leaves a blessing behind. Even the calendar looks different with their name inside it. The dates grant a rhythm that respects both souls. Time learns the art of kindness inside a healthy promise. The path ahead no longer pretends to be a puzzle. It stretches steady like a road finally repaired. Both of you walk it side by side without strain. Type Amen to get blessing 4242. This union is firm without rigidity. It bends to hold generosity and returns to center with ease. It has a spine and a heart and a steady hand. The season of searching has ended with honor. The season of building begins with gentleness. Every brick is placed by truth, not haste. You keep the pace of breath rather than the pace of fear. You carry simplicity as your banner. Simplicity answers needs before they become noise. Night returns like a friend who knows your threshold. It leaves a light on and reminds you of tomorrow's calm. You cross into rest without leaving peace behind. Type Amen to get blessing 4343. In the quiet, you think of everything that remained faithful. You honor the hours that held your hope with careful hands. You thank the path for refusing to collapse under weight. You place your hand over your heart and feel the answer living there. The answer has a pulse and a home and a schedule. It will not wander into the past for entertainment. You breathe once for the waiting, once for the arrival, and once for the building. All three breaths agree inside your chest. Agreement crowns this chapter without ceremony. The night closes its book with a soft sound. Pages align in a perfect stack. A ribbon falls into place and rests. Type Amen to get blessing 4444. Tomorrow stands at the door with clear eyes. It carries the tools for a life made with care. It promises strength with the tone of a friend who keeps promises. You step forward with the quiet courage that comes from truth. Your steps no longer chase, they receive. Receiving becomes your strongest motion. They will meet you there with the same tone. Two tones blend into one dependable song. The song teaches the walls of your life how to hold joy. The person you prayed for has found you in full daylight. They remain with the steadiness of a chosen vow. And your life, at last, matches the rhythm your soul always trusted. Type Amen to get blessing 4545.